We're with Viv Stephens of the Niche Vehicle Network, and we're going to find out more about what this fantastic group does. Viv, this is quite a concept. Exactly what are you trying to achieve with this, and who's involved with it?
So we set up in about 2004 with a view to promoting collaboration amongst the specialist vehicle manufacturers in the UK, so the likes of Caterham and Morgan, BAC, Ariel, and the supply chain, and importantly design engineering companies in the UK. So we support collaborative research and development, companies working in twos and threes, and we use government money to support their projects and promote innovation and collaboration in the sector.
And obviously you've been going since 2004 and we're now in 17, so this collaboration is working really well for all the people involved.
Yeah, I think the UK niche vehicle sector is the best in the world, and we don't take the credit for that, but actually we help to glue these companies together. They've got a solid UK supply base, most of them have got very heavy UK content, and you can see from the product around you just how innovative it all is.
And really for this niche vehicle group, it's fantastic because you're promoting a British product and all the success with it, I suppose.
Yeah, we use UK taxpayers' money, so we only promote UK products, and we want them to be successful on a global stage.
So we're with Sam Bobola of Bobola Motorsport. Sam, I understand this is a new car that's being shown for the first time at the show?
Yeah, this is our first time at Autosport with the new Bobola Bulldog. So this is our new platform of rally vehicles. It's our own chassis, it's running new JLR engine, drivetrain and suspension, and then a Defender body on the top just to cap the vehicle off.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of Land Rover in this then?
There's a lot of Land Rover but not much Defender. The Defender is literally the look and the appearance for ease and simplicity of the Defender body panels.
Okay, and then do these cars have their own challenge then, or race series?
We're just looking at running different events with these cars this year. So the idea with this car is it's hopefully going to be FIA approved to run in events like Bajas, things like the Dakar going forward. We're also looking at running a national spec car that will be good for hill rallies and events in the UK as well.
So what kind of class would this vehicle run in? What kind of transmission and engines are you using in this?
At the moment we're using a diesel V6 engine for the rally raid sort of car, and then a petrol V6 supercharged engine for the more leery, exciting national spec car.
And I mean, with the diesel, V6 turbo. So what kind of power and torque are you looking at out of an engine like that?
So we're looking at about 300 horsepower and close to 600 newton meters of torque.
Oh my God,
it's quite a beast, really. It's just the torque's what you need to drive on the off-road stuff, and it uses half the fuel of the petrol car, so for longer events that really is the engine of choice.
And I mean, with that amount of torque going through the drivetrain, does that really cause you any issues at all?
It hasn't so far. We're pretty good on drivetrain, it seems to all be working well. We've got limited slip diffs that get the power to the ground, and so far we're pretty happy.
And I noticed inside the cockpit, is that an auto box?
Yeah, so it's an 8-speed automatic gearbox, so the same as you'd get in a Range Rover or a Discovery, but you can drive it Tiptronic, so it'll change gear when you want to change gear, and it makes for a really nice driving car.
And it's so lovely to see your father's name on this car as well.
Yeah, so we lost my father in November last year, which has been hard on everyone.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We'll get there. We'll work, and he's left us with a good foundation now, good new car, and we've got to make him proud.
And it's a lovely legacy for him. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
I'm with Anthony Alsop of Rage Motorsport. Anthony, what can you tell me about your company at the moment and the products you're doing?
Well, Rage Motorsport has been running for many years, since the early 90s. Started with twins who first developed the product as a hobby. And in fact, a little story, they actually built go-karts for the beach at Yarmouth and had a fantastic summer with 6 of their beach buggies, and had an experience event on the beach at Yarmouth.
Okay.
But from those early days, the twins actually developed a single-seater with a Honda 5-blade engine in it, using chain drive. Very simple suspension, and very, very rudimentary in its design, and all done by hand. All trial and error, very simplistic routes. Today we've got something which is far, far more sophisticated, all CAD designed, and enhanced by industry trained individuals who are professional engineers, and we've benefited greatly from the work that they've put into the product, from, again, very simple bodywork to something which is a little bit more sophisticated with what we now see here today.
And I mean, car range wise, this I understand is the Comet R. What else is in your product range at the moment?
Well, this vehicle here being the road legal, so Comet R road, we do a Comet which is purely off-road. We also do, this is a 6-speed sequential gearbox with the Kawasaki ZX 1400. Wow. We do an automatic using a Yamaha snowmobile engine, so CVT operated with 140 horsepower. So very, very simple, easy to drive, rev and go, superb for tuition, and also has been used on the Dakar. We had 3 years where we actually built vehicles and they ran at the Dakar.
I mean, engineering-wise, you spoke about the fact you're using Yamaha engines and Kawasaki engines. Do you have to source them kind of from the second-hand market, or do you have a very good relationship with the manufacturers to get nice new motors?
We are in discussion with Kawasaki. We do use used engines, but we have authority and sanction to buy brand new engines, which I am hoping that this year will be something that we'll be introducing. Yamaha, we actually use, and I hate to tell you this, brand spanking new snowmobiles. We buy the snowmobile and we actually have the engine, and then we're left with a snowmobile carcass, which breaks my heart.
And one of the things, obviously, is you're part of this niche vehicle network. How much help has that given you in trying to bring your product to the customer?
That is a good question. I look at the niche network as the word network. It gives me a great opportunity to talk to my peers and to not feel so lonely, because it can feel lonely. And being a managing director, talking to people, it's hard to have somebody to relate to. And so it's nice to actually have that opportunity to talk to people that are in a similar position. As far as what can it do to bring product to market, we are on doing a development project with Niche, which they're assisting on the financing, and I'm hoping that will be announced later on this year, and we'll have a new model as a consequence of that.
Tom, what car have you got with you today?
This is the latest Ariel Nomad. This is actually our new demonstrator, so it's a 300 horsepower supercharged Honda 2.4 litre engine. Weighs about 680 kilos, so it's pretty serious performance, serious fun. And
exactly what kind of use do you think? I mean, is this car going to be road legal, so people can use it for things like that and a bit of off-roading?
That's right, yeah, the car's road legal. All of our cars are, and our motorcycles. But yeah, obviously this one is designed so you can drive it on the road, and then if you want to take it green laning or Salisbury Plain or, fire roads in Wales or whatever, the world's your oyster, really.
And have you had much interest from the competition guys on this kind of car, or is it pretty quiet on that site in the moment?
Yeah, there is a fair bit of interest. We were planning to sort of investigate competition a bit sooner than we have, but to be honest, when we launched the car at the show here 2 years ago, we were sort of taken back by how many orders we got and how much interest there was. So we've actually spent the last sort of 18 months really concentrating on fulfilling customer orders and getting the cars out to customers. But we're just sort of getting to the stage now where we're in talks with various series, to see about doing some competition with it.
We'll have to sort something out. Thank you very much, Tom.
No problem, thank you.
I'm now going to chat with Jonathan Douglas of JE Motorworks. Jonathan, can you just give me a little bit of background about JE and how long they've been going?
Yeah, so JE was actually started in 1975, so it's over 40 years old now. And the original Mr. JE is a man called John Eales, and he made a real speciality of tuning the old Rover V8 engine. So we did a lot of work with racing in Morgans and TVRs and SD1 Rovers. And then, of course, that engine became the main thing for Range Rovers, and we were making much more powerful Range Rovers, so we had to upgrade their suspension and brakes as well. And this meant that over time we became more of a Land Rover specialist than a V8 racing specialist, as the use of the engine changed over the years. I took over the company in the late 90s and took it forward to produce improvements for all sorts of Land Rovers, but particularly the Defender, which of course is sold as a utilitarian vehicle.
Yes, very much.
But we do a lot of the mechanical upgrades for it, so that we can do bigger engines and automatic gearboxes. We do suspension and brake alterations as well to make the Defender much more usable on road.
Okay, and I mean, you talked about the fact it was the old Buick V8 engine.
Yes.
I mean, is that still the basis of most of these engines, or have they moved on to other things nowadays?
Well, the funny thing is, it went out of fashion for a while, but since the Defender stopped being made, a lot of people who've bought Defenders have asked us to put the old Rover engine into them. So we'll probably do 50 or 60 Rover engine conversions this year, which is a big uplift on the last 4 or 5 years, where we've used other high-performance engines. But the Rover seems to be popular because it's the authentic engine for the car.
And then, I mean, obviously with all that kind of power, you've really got to start controlling the dampers. So you obviously have to do a lot of work with the suspension and transmission.
Yes, we tend to use a slightly softer road spring, which gives you a bit more grip, and stiffer anti-roll bars. We use a high-spec damper. It's a separate reservoir damper, so that we get really good damping control. Because you've got these big heavy axles bouncing around, and you need a lot of extra control. That actually, on a lot of modern cars, isn't a feature of suspension anymore, because the corner weights are so light.
Yes.
But with a live axle, you've got to do a slightly different damping approach. But we managed to make them handle very well for normal road use. I wouldn't say they were racing cars. You can't turn it into a Lotus, But they're good cars. You can drive well on the road.
So I mean that's the great thing. It's a wonderful vehicle. There's so many still on the roads, and they get to a point, and then somebody will lovingly want to bring it back to some form of glory. And there's all these companies as all part of this network. You can help each other out.
Absolutely. And I mean, right now, as you probably know, if you wanted a fairly low mileage, not very old Defender, you pay well over list for it just now. But the older cars are also holding value very well, and there's a huge industry of people approaching all the different aspects of this. So it's like a blank sheet of paper. You can buy a Land Rover or a Land Rover Defender and turn it into almost whatever you want, in a sense. I mean, again, you can't turn it into a sports car, but you can make it different to and appropriate to what you want to do with a car. And it's great fun. All sorts of people get enormous fun out of this kind of life. Yeah.
They're an iconic British car,
Absolutely,
aren't they?
Yeah.
Jonathan, thank you so much for informing us on what you get up to.
That's a pleasure. Thanks very much.